Welcome to Health in Retirement. Each week, we'll discuss some of the health challenges facing retirees. We'll focus on more than just physical health. We'll look at financial health, mental and emotional health, as well as spiritual health. With your host, Rebecca Jones. This is Health in Retirement.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Jones with Health in Retirement, where we keep you up to date and informed on everything to do with retirement and your health. So we want to keep you spiritually engaged, physically active, mentally stimulated, and up to date financially. So in that aspect, I have with us today Elizabeth Cochran. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So she has informed me, and I actually went to one of her classes. So we're going to talk about the physical activity, not only physical activity, but her program is physical, mental, and spiritual. It's a place where you can get all of it in one. So tell us about your program. What's it called first?
Well, the exercise class is called Intensati, which is a made-up word. It's a combination of the word intention and an ancient Puli word, sati, which is a kind of a conceptual word for wisdom, thought, consciousness. So the point of the class, which was invented by an amazing woman named Patricia Moreno close to 20 years ago in New York City, is to have intentional consciousness or intentional thoughts. And the way she brought all this together with physicality is she created a really simple choreography aerobics class where you yell out positive affirmations with the teacher. And what that does is while you're exercising and your endorphins are going, if you occupy the brain with positive thoughts, your workout is just that much better, not only spiritually and mentally, but also physically. You actually burn more calories, you strengthen your cardiovascular capacity. And more importantly, you lift the needle off the record of negativity, which is just kind of our default factory setting as humans sometimes. I mean, we think something like 60,000 negative thoughts a day, and they're repeated. It's like the same 2 or 3 thoughts over and over again. So when you're forced into this crazy class where you have to yell out affirmations with a group of people, you can't think those negative thoughts at the same time. And so that's, to me, what's really powerful about it. I mean, it's a good workout as well. You can really work up a sweat, but to me, it's more the spiritual uplift and the mental workout that's powerful.
Yes, I remember reading an article that chess players have to eat more calories while they're playing chess because of the mental capacity that it takes to play the game. So that brings it all together, that you're working out, you're burning those calories. On top of that, you're thinking mental. You are going against, like you said, going against the grain of that repetitive tape that you've already built in your subconscious about, this is hard, I can't do this, or whatever negative thoughts you're having.
I'm ugly. Why did I wear this outfit to the gym? What's for dinner tonight? I shouldn't have said that to my boss. It just goes, the litany goes on and on and on. And it's really fun to take a vacation from that nonsense for the hour of the class. Plus, the affirmations usually rhyme. So I found myself when I was a student of this in New York, before I did the teacher training, I would just be walking around New York with it stuck in my head, which was not as annoying as that sounds, actually. It was really nice.
Can you give us some examples of some of the affirmations that we say? I mean, I was there and I 100% enjoyed every minute of it. I've never been so energized and so uplifted in a workout ever.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, no, you did a great job last night. One of the series of affirmations we're working with in this month's routine is, I will celebrate who I am. I shine my light across the land. I mean, these are simple concepts, but when you're saying them together, and the way the class works is I yell it out first, the class calls it back. So it's really interactive. If you get, a large group of people, like the class I went to in New York had 70 or 80 people in it. So it was loud. It's really, really powerful. And I think what's fantastic about retirement age participating in this is, first of all, anybody can do this. I give cues. You can keep the movements really simple. You can stay really still. Whatever your mobility is, we have a workaround for it in the class. You can also, if you feel up to it, you can jump and leap and really, really be deeply physical with it as well. So it's a whole range of movement. But what I love about my retired students is they've been around the block a few times. They've learned some lessons.
Right.
So they really see the value in the affirmations, and they often have less self-consciousness about it, because it's kind of a big thing to ask someone to walk into a room and yell out a positive affirmation.
Exactly.
You know?
And I can see how it can help someone of a younger age, that the diversity of the group, and how someone with more wisdom can help them, and the young can help them. And it's just a collaboration of like-mindedness and growth and wisdom in that. I do have a question. If someone is outside the area of Wichita, is there a way that they can find another instructor if they are interested?
Yes, it's a national group of classes. So the national website is satilife.com. That's SATILIFE.com. And there's streaming classes. You can put the city you're in, and hopefully, there's classes all over the country.
Right.
It's started in New York, so that's where it's most established, but there's classes in Chicago, there's classes in Miami, there's classes in LA. There used to be classes in Kansas City. I'm not sure if they're still there, but I've been to classes in Kansas City before. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So I know the reason, at least when I was talking to you before, when I first met you and you were telling me about your program, you said that it really changed your life. How was your experience when you first entered doing this class as a student?
Well, I found this class at a time in my life where I had really struggled with recreational substance abuse. Not anything that completely upended my life, but it was enough that it was taking the bloom off the rose a little bit, I felt. And so I'd sobered up and thought that would solve everything. And I found myself, this was in my early to mid 30s, I found myself just not feeling a part of the tapestry of life and feeling like an outsider. And so a friend told me about the class at this gym in New York where you yell out positive affirmations. I promptly threw up in my mouth, but I was intrigued.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. I mean, I think it's so important to, if you're taking something out of your life, to replace it with something else. I think that's key to long-term progress in that area. And I have a lot more questions for you about Intensati, and we will be back right after this. Hi, and welcome back to Health and Retirement. I'm Rebecca Jones, and we're joined again with Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us today again. And so we're talking about being physically active as well as mentally stimulated. And I mean, it goes in with spiritual, because you're talking about, just being connected with source or God or whatever your connection is in there. And I like how you lend that ability or that determination between each person that comes in. Whatever. You may say God, but it is your own individual preference, correct?
Correct. So the God disclaimer that I have found is helpful to explain to people. So just to back up a little bit, when I discovered the class, I really rolled my eyes at it. I was like, positive affirmations, this is a joke. I was secretly intrigued, and a friend of mine gave me a pass to her gym, and I snuck in that first morning, mortified. And I walked in, and the lights were dim in the studio. People were sitting down talking to each other, and I'm like, why are people talking to each other? Why are people being friendly? This is an exercise class. Why are the lights dim? And I didn't say a single affirmation out loud in that class. I was too shy. I just hid in the back. And the woman that taught it that day happened to be the woman that founded it, which I did not know.
Oh, wow.
But I walked out of that, and the first thing she said to the class in her sort of preamble speech was that you cannot control what happens to you in this life. You can only control how you react to it. Now, I know now that's a very famous Stoic philosophy. At the time, it was the first time I'd heard it, and I burst into tears at the back of the classroom because I just felt this little ray of sunshine poke through my depression, my just malaise at my own life. So I walk out, I immediately sign up for this like $220 a month gym in New York City. I cannot believe that I was going to spend that much money on a gym. And I started going. And it took me a couple, 3 months to start to feel comfortable saying the affirmations. And 6 months after that, I became a teacher. And now I just love it. And I'm obviously more comfortable with the concept. And what it did for me and what it can do for anybody is it really helps you find a more playful side. It helps you break through stiffness, this struggle with perfectionism that a lot of us have. And it's this weird thing, if I can jump around and be silly and yell at affirmations, maybe I can try this new thing in my life or change my mind about that. It just really opened me up to a whole nother way of living, which I've deeply appreciated. And now that I'm having it here in Wichita, my spiritual journey is a real talk with God. But what I try to explain to people when I have the class is that I am talking about God as divine love, as the power that created life and universes. We are not talking about an old man on a throne or a specific religion at all. I'm really talking about divine love, higher consciousness. It's just the word God's much easier to rhyme in an affirmation sometimes.
I love that. And I enjoyed the class so much in the sense that it lent a place for you to practice courage. You know,
that's a great point.
Like you were saying,
it's very hard to step out of yourself and do this class. It's probably doesn't appeal to everyone, but I would argue that everyone should give it a shot of doing something so outside of your comfort zone.
Right. And I think that's key to your subconscious will go back to what is known, not necessarily to what is safe. And in that aspect, you could keep coming to classes, keep trying to push yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone. And then now that becomes part of your subconscious. And now it's easier to do those other things that were hard to begin with. And it's for all physical levels.
Absolutely.
There was people there last night that were in chairs. You know, they were still, you know, recovering from some ailments, and anybody's welcome. You can come and just, I love that you had said last night, come sit down if you want to just watch.
Right.
So you can get baby steps.
Right.
Do whatever makes you feel most comfortable. What matters is that you got there.
Correct. And you can make, these physical moves as small or as big as you want to. So I have WSU students that come to the class. I've got a couple of, what are they called? Like extreme athletes that do like ultra marathons that come to the class.
Yeah.
I have middle-aged people. I've got my retired neighbors across the street that love it, and some other older friends that join us. And it's all, I really try to give you options on the movement. And I'm not in the greatest shape. You know, I'm not a rock star with that. I do what I can. Really, to me, the class is about the affirmations.
Exactly.
Who cares about the exercise? This is exercising your heart and your soul, which is where we need our real strength. Like, I'm not really concerned if you can do a push-up. What I'm concerned with is if when that voice in your head is telling you you're not good enough or you can't do something, I want to strengthen the muscle that pushes back against that.
Yes.
I really could care less if you can do a burpee. I mean, who cares?
Exactly. Because our thoughts make our reality.
Exactly.
And that's been proven time and time again. Even if you're not believing that you can do it, if you say it enough, eventually you will. You will be able to.
Exactly.
And what can one expect when they first come in? I mean, if they're really feeling like, should they bring like something? How can they come prepared before they get to the class?
Water and a sense of openness, I would say. It is an aerobics class, so workout gear, something stretchy and comfortable to move in, tennis shoes, although I've had some people that like doing it barefoot. It's more just a willingness to try something new and just not be so caught up in self-consciousness.
Exactly. And with health in retirement, I want to bring awareness that it can be really easy to forget to be physically active and to stimulate your mind. And obviously I need to do that a little bit more. And this brings all of that together with spirituality. This is going to help reduce anxiety, depression. This is going to help bone health and muscles and your joints. There's so many wonderful benefits to taking this class. I would ask you, why wouldn't you? You know?
Well, the reason I started it And we can give the location and everything at the end of this for sure so you guys can find us. But I really felt that after the last 2 years of shutdown and ridiculous polarization, that we need to come together as a community and come together to celebrate each other and Wichita and ourselves. So you can find us currently at the White Building. It's 3219 East Douglas. We are there Tuesdays at 6 p.m., Sundays at 4 p.m. The class is free, although I'm happy to take a donation if you want to help me pay for this space. I really just want to encourage as many people to come as possible, and you can find me on Facebook, Intensati ICT.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for joining us. We really appreciate it. And I really hope you get the courage to come out, try her class. You will not regret it. I promise you this. And we will be right back with our health tip of the week.
Now, our health tip of the week.
This is your health tip of the week. As summer is quickly approaching, it's time to be hypervigilant of your water consumption. Did you know that most Americans are chronically dehydrated? Do you feel tired, sluggish? Are you having headaches, dry mouth? If you're feeling thirsty, that's a good sign that you're already dehydrated. So today I have some tips for you on how to stay well hydrated so your body can function at its optimum performance. So what we have here today is some sparkling water. I find this helps me, and it actually helps curb my cravings of drinking soda because you still get that, carbonation, fizzy feel. And if you don't like plain carbonated water, you can always throw in some of these drops for flavor. I do suggest, though, be aware that some of these flavor drops do have some sugar, high fructose corn syrup, or aspartame. So just beware of what you are consuming. Look at the ingredients on the back. Lemon actually has a lot of great benefits. Besides vitamin C, it actually does help prevent from kidney stones. I find that drinking from a large cup with a straw helps quite often because this cup is about 32 ounces and all you really need at least is 64 ounces of water to be fully hydrated. Of course, this depends on your activity level. So 2 of these and I know I'm good. And another way, if you really feel like you're already really dehydrated, there are some packets that give you extra electrolytes such as coconut water and liquid IV. And this has been your health tip of the week.
For more health tips, go to healthinretirement.com. This has been your health tip of the week.
Hi, and welcome back to Health in Retirement. I'm Rebecca Jones, and I am here today with our local Medicare advisor. Welcome, Cory.
Hey, Rebecca.
So I had a question. I like to go through these scenarios because I'm trying to think of anything that I might be up against as I'm coming to the age of Medicare at 65, 70, whatever that scenario might be. Or maybe as my parents are coming to the age of, they have Medicare and now they have dementia, Alzheimer's, and now they're under my care. So in this situation as a caregiver, what should one do for their parent in this scenario?
Yeah, it's very important that when our parents get to that age, that we are taking care of them, that we're involved in all of their Medicare decisions. So whenever we have somebody in a POA type of situation or a power of attorney situation, it is very important that you're going to these meetings with your parents. And if you are the one on Medicare, that your caregiver is going to meetings with you. Mm-hmm. Whenever we're filling out those applications, there always is a spot on there that says, one of the questions on almost every application, do you have a power of attorney? Are you completing this contract by yourself, or are you completing it with that representative? And it is very important from me personally to make sure that we explain the details of that plan with the power of attorney so that they have a full understanding of what they're signing their parents up for.
And I think having a Medicare advisor that is on your side, that knows your plans, say you've been with they've been with you for a couple years, and unfortunately their health has declined, and they have, they have Alzheimer's or dementia, and they've kind of like not really looked into the plan because they forgot that's, a lot of the early signs of those things. And to be able to come in as like a caregiver with my parent, with you, to go over, hey, this is their plan. You're like, yes, I remember talking to them about this, and making sure that you can give them what best fits them.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that's great about what we do here is we keep all of the personal information on file. So whenever they come in to review their plan, I can look at everything that they've done in previous years. I can make sure that their medication is entered in right. And I've built this relationship with the person on Medicare, and now it's just about starting that relationship with the current caregiver and making sure that everybody's on the same page.
Exactly. Everybody's on board. Everybody's aware of what's going on, and the parent is receiving the correct care as needed. Another question I was wondering about is, what kind of care do you suggest that should they redo their physical, or?
Yeah, definitely. On any plan that we're looking at when it comes to Medicare, you do have at least an annual opportunity to get a completely covered physical. However, if we go with the Medicare supplement, all your medical expenses are paid. So if you ever feel like there is a change in your health, you're more than welcome to go to the doctor and get reassessed.
Awesome. Okay, well, you heard it here. Cory with Market Medicare Advisors, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can reach us at 316-867-4MED.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Cory. With all the wonderful knowledge of Medicare, there's a lot to take in. And we want you to have the most up-to-date information on how to stay healthy physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. So stay tuned next week for Health in Retirement.
This broadcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific investment opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Each individual investor situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Foundations only transacts business in the states where it is registered or is excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by security regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Legal services are offered by Eidelman Law Firm. Tax services offered by Market Tax Services. Market Advisory Group does not provide legal or tax advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.